I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. And today I am here with the BookTube Newbie Tag. So I was not technically tagged, but I feel like the newbie tag is kind of an official initiation into being a booktuber. You're not really legit until you've done the newbie tag. So I thought I'd start just by formally introducing myself. I am Sarah. I'm 36. I live in Vermont in the Burlington area with my boyfriend and our dog and 2 cats. I'm originally from Connecticut. I grew up in kind of the Bridgeport area of Connecticut, and a couple years ago in 2020, we decided to move up to Vermont. Coincidentally, it had nothing to do with the pandemic. We had already planned on moving up here, and it just kind of coincided accidentally. So we ended up moving to Vermont in the summer of 2020, and we've been here since. I work in the field of therapeutic education. I work for a therapeutic school that specializes in students who struggle socially and emotionally. I work in the departments of admissions and student affairs, and I've been doing this work for the past 8 years, and I really love it. So, all right, let's get to the questions. The first question, if you see me look over here, I have notes over here because my mind is just perpetually jumbled, and I knew I would never be able to get my thoughts out if I didn't kind of put some notes on the side here. So the first question, why did you start this channel? Well, I've been watching BookTube for over a year at this point, and I just decided to give it a try myself. Making a bookish Instagram has really introduced me to lots of new people, and I just kind of wanted to take it one step further and expand my community and become a part of the BookTube community. So the short answer to that is friends, is for friends. Question number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? My charm? No, I don't have charm. This was a hard one because I feel like my reading taste isn't necessarily very unique. I feel like the books I read are kind of similar to a lot of other booktubers on here. So maybe just what I can contribute to the conversation might be unique. And not many Vermonters on the BookTube that I know of. So you can have a firsthand experience of semi-rural life, farms and all. Maybe that's unique. Question number 3, what are you most excited about for this YouTube channel? Honestly, just meeting people and making more connections and having more conversations about books. I really love it when even on Instagram, when I post a book I'm reading and someone reaches out and says, oh, I just read that, or I'm reading it too, and you kind of have a conversation about your thoughts on the book. And I think that more of that is really all I'm looking for, just in it for the book chat, really. Question number 4, where do you love reading? I read a lot on my couch at home and in bed. But I think if I could read anywhere, I would read outside. It would be a nice 65 to 70 degree day when the sun is out and it's quiet and I can lounge in a hammock or a very comfortable chair and kind of teeter between the sun and the shade. I could do that from sun up to sundown. I can spend the entire day just outside with books in a comfortable seating situation. Question number 5, what book or series got you into reading? I've kind of always been drawn to books since I can remember, but I think when I really started to read on my own, I was into a lot of the quintessential series that kids my age were into at that point. I read a lot of the Boxcar Children. I read Babysitter's Club books. I was really into Goosebumps for a while. I loved me some Goosebumps. Then I think in high school, I kind of teetered out a little bit on reading, but I began reading again when I got into college and into my 20s. And Connecticut has some amazing big library book sales that happen every year, and I would frequent them. I would go around to all of them, especially in the summer season. There's a ton of them, so I would just kind of hit them all up in different weekends. And the acquiring and collecting of those books really catapulted my reading as well. I mean, I'd go to those things and I'd come home with 20 new books. I think that really, that collecting aspect also ignited my love of reading. And now that I am part of this social media bookish community, I'm reading more than I've ever read. So that's cool. Question number 6. Why do you love reading? For so many reasons. Reading helps to expand your mind and to see from other people's perspectives. I think immersing yourself in someone else's world or someone else's mind is really important. A good experience in opening your own mind. I generally love to just hear other people's stories, whether they're fiction or not. So not even just reading, just hearing someone else's experience or story is really interesting to me. I read to become more informed and knowledgeable. I find that reading feeds my creativity. And last and most of all, just for my complete and utter love and fervor of language and a beautiful sentence. All right, and this is the last question. Question number 7. What kinds of books do you like to read? I would say mostly literary fiction. I also love autofiction. I enjoy nonfiction. Mostly when it comes to nonfiction, it's memoir or an essay collection for the most part. I enjoy research journalism-based books where they kind of just take a subject and deep dive into it. I find that really interesting, especially if it's written well. I love poetry. I will pick up a short story collection now and again, though surprisingly short stories aren't my favorite. I really prefer novels and something that's more cohesive, so I feel like if a short story collection is they're all interwoven together, that might be more intriguing to me, but for the most part, I like something that's completely one expansive story. All right, those are all the questions. That went a lot faster than I thought, but I thought to end the video, I would just kind of give some shout outs to the booktubers that I love and I've been watching over the past year, and that ultimately inspired me to start my own. So first and foremost, Rebecca at Rebecca Eats Books. Rebecca is how I even learned about BookTube. I think on Instagram, she had posted a new video or something, and so I started watching her content, and that just took me down a full rabbit hole of other booktubers. Rebecca is big brain, thinky woman energy, and I could listen to her talk about books all day, every day. Then from Rebecca, I learned about Iggy at Literary Iggy, who is the brightest beam of light that BookTube has to offer. I love her insight, and I feel like when you watch her videos, you can feel the positivity radiate through the screen. I also learned of Ben Green at Benjamin Journal, who is quite possibly one of the most beautiful humans I've encountered. He is warm and lovely and has just the most gorgeous content. CJ at CJ Reads, who is the coolest, and she has a book truck called Sunny's Book Truck and a monthly book club. Jaylen at Bar in the Bookcase. He has amazing author interviews and also will have other booktubers or guests on to chat about books. CJ's been on his channel and I really enjoyed their few episodes where they're chatting. He also has an episode where he interviews and chats with Lauren Euler, which is an incredible interview. He does such a good job. So I always love hearing those, and I just love hearing what he thinks about the books he reads in general. Other favorites, let's see. Julie at Linen Librarian, who is so lovely, and she gives an insider look into being a librarian and academia, and her taste is super similar to mine, so I always enjoy hearing what she thinks about some of the books that either I know I want to read or have read. Renée at So I Read This Book. She has the same level of book buying habits that I do, as you can see behind me. And not only do we both have a book buying addiction, but she has similar tastes as I do, and I love her aesthetic and sassy nature. Sophie at BiblioSophie, who is one of the most eloquent book reviewers that I've listened to. I love her taste, and she reads in multiple languages, which is really cool to get a take on a book reading it in its original French. So that's super cool. Katie James, who I've just recently started watching, and her content is elegant and lovely, and she has the cutest cat ever. And last but certainly not least, Anna Wallace Johnson. I love her content. She is fabulous. She is cool. She is hilarious. I love that she reads books that you don't see all over BookTube. Every time I watch a video of hers, I've learned about a book that I hadn't heard about or wouldn't have heard about otherwise. And after watching her, I'm constantly adding new books to my list. All right, that was a lot. But I really regularly watch all of those booktubers. I always look forward to watching when they post a new video. And of course, there are other booktubers that I know of and also really like, but these are my absolute favorites. So I hope you enjoyed my newbie tag and enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more. And I look forward to the next videos and seeing you next time.